Hello everyone and welcome to this training session on statistical data analysis using SPSS. My name is Vamsidhar. As a part of this session, I would like to cover the relationship between two categorical variables. Till now, all the earlier sessions which we were discussing, the major discussion was on analyzing variables independently, each variable separately. But our intention slowly has to move towards taking two variables together, analyzing the relationship between the two variables, and bringing out some kind of statistically significant relationships, if at all they exist, between the various groups of variables. So as a part of that exercise itself, we are starting off with the first of that kind, called as a cross tab analysis, wherein we will do an analysis taking two categorical variables together. Alright, so just trying to find out if there is some kind of relationship existing between those categorical variables. So categorical could very well be your nominal variables or even ordinal variables. So how do we get about with that? Okay, just to give a quick summary before we implement that relationship in SPSS, the major thing the major business requirement or the business scenario which we would be looking at while doing a cross tab analysis is you are looking at the relationship between two categorical variables, and if possible we'll do a layering by additional variables also. What does that mean? I want to find the relationship between A and B. A is one categorical variable, B is one categorical variable, but this relationship I want to observe separately for each of the values of C. So probably let's say C is nothing but a gender, another categorical variable. A is some categorical variable and B is some other categorical variable. I would like to find out the relationship between A and B separately for males and separately for females. That is what we call as a layering. Overall, if I am trying to find out the relationship between these two categorical variables, it's at a high level. But if I am digging down to find out the relationship between A and B separately for each of the elements of C, that is what we call as a layering. So if required, we can very well do the layering also and base our relationship analysis between the two variables A and B using this cross tab procedure. So in this chapter we would be dealing at length with this kind of scenario, and what we are also saying is it even tests for the independence. There is a statistical test also which it offers, saying is there a relationship between these two, or are they statistically independent? Is there a statistical relationship between these two, or are they statistically independent? And it even measures the degree of association between the two variables. In case they are related, how strongly or how weakly they are related. That is one more aspect that we can derive using this cross-tab analysis. And at the same time, in the next session, I would also take you through an example which will deal with identifying the relative risk of an event. Sometimes in a statistical world, we also call it as odds ratio or relative risk of an event. What is the chance that event X occurs as a proportion of event Y? That is what we typically call as relative risk. I'll take up an example in the next session, and we can make some kind of conclusions on that. So all these various things can very well be performed using the crosstab analysis in SPSS. So to demonstrate that in SPSS, I have considered a few case questions. As you all know, the case study remains the same. The data which is associated with the various people, male and females, their educational smoking status kind of thing, and apart from that, some quantitative variables like height, weight, waist, pulse rate, and a lot of other things like that, which we have been using for our other calculations. Here, remember, when we are doing the crosstab analysis, I need the relationship between two categorical variables only. So in our data, there are four categorical variables: gender and marital status, which are nominal, as we have already discussed, whereas smoker status and education category are ordinal data in our. So we will use both of them. So for that purpose itself, I have taken one case question saying, is smoking status uniform across all marital status? Means if we see here, smoking status is more of an ordinal variable, marital status is more of a nominal variable. So I have one ordinal and one nominal here. Whereas in the second case, is smoking status uniform across all education levels? So both of them are ordinal variables. So I want to check if there is completely independence, means the uniformity exists across all the education levels, or probably I would like to know whether highly educated smoke a lot, or less educated people smoke a lot, or is there any kind of such relationship existing between the smoking status and the education level. And finally, we are even bringing in the layering by doing it separately for each gender. Initially, I will do it uniformly across the whole set of data, but after that, I would like to handle it separately for male and female to see if the relationships differ between the male and female as far as the uniformity of the smoking status is concerned. Alright, so we'll try to address these questions from our data. So let's get started with it. So first thing, I'll try to do the relationship between this